We're back in Albany, moments away from the start of our Marist Iona MAAC semifinal. The winner to take on St. Peter's tomorrow, and our starting lineups brought to you by I Love New York. What a great vacation, ilovenewyork.com.
And certainly when you take a look at Marist's lineup, James Smith with 2 monster games against Iona in their 2 matchups. He only had 3 20-point games on the season, 2 of them against the Gales.
Meanwhile, for the Gales, Gary Springer, Kirill Waxman both played huge in their second-round win last night. And then that senior backcourt, Marvin McCullough, Ricky Soliver, and we've already shown you and told you about Steve Burt. Tonight's coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports and The Rock. Matt Brady in his 2nd year on the left, and Jeff Ruland in his 8th season as the head coach at his alma mater, Iona College. The Rock, the official basketball of the MAAC. The Ricky Soliver fan club is back in town as the folks from New Rochelle, just outside of New York City, have made the trip north on the thruway to get here to downtown Albany, and they are hoping that the Gales are able to meet St. Peter's for the MAAC title tomorrow night. Now let's take a look at tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Verizon Wireless.
Well, the first thing they've got to do is limit transition. Best way to do that, run some good offense and score the basketball, not allow Iona to get out on the run. You also got to contain them. Don't allow them into the lane. They do a great job off the bounce. For Iona, they have to defend the high ball screen. You know the ball's going to be in Jared Jordan's hands. And then for Iona, it's all about them. If they bring defensive focus and share the basketball, they're the most talented team in this league.
Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. In our Pontiac Series history shows you that Iona has the big lead all-time 24-9, but they split their regular season matchups. And this one should be a doozy. Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA and the MAAC.
And in each of those meetings, it was an unlikely 3-point shot that turned the tide late in the game.
Marist with a record of 18-9. Iona with a 21-7 record. Marvin McCullough with the first shot of this ball game, and it is off the mark. And the Red Foxes as the number 3 seed in their road uniforms, the red jerseys with the white lettering and the black trim.
And certainly Iona got off to about as good a start as you could last night when they went on an 11-0 run to start things off.
Stilfen from the baseline, and we've got our first points tonight.
So not the same kind of start tonight. This Iona team played just about as well as they possibly could last night against Niagara.
Iona is a team very comfortable and adept at playing on the road. Even though this is a neutral site game, there are far more Marist fans in attendance, as Poughkeepsie's only about an hour away, and the folks who follow the Red Foxes travel in force.
Well, you're right. They've got 11 road wins on the season. Good for best in the country.
Stilfen misfired on that one. Ricky Soliver, the top defensive player in the league, with the dribble. Steve Burt, guarded by Carl Hood. Burt able to hit the turnaround.
He's got great balance. Even when he's off balance, fading away, somehow he's able to make sure that his upper body is squared up, able to knock down the shot.
Stilfen, Jordan, Whittington, Smith, and Hood, the starting 5 for the Red Foxes, who have won 3 of their last 4. And this is a team who lost its first 4 games of the regular season in MAAC play, and in spite of that, they were able to come together, rally, and get the 3rd spot in the standings. Jordan forced to put up the 3, and it goes out of bounds untouched.
Well, solid defensive possession from the Gales. That's always a key for Jeff Ruland's team coming in, whether or not they're going to have defensive focus.
Matt Brady, after 11 years as an assistant at St. Joe's, in his 2nd year as head coach of the Marist Red Foxes, and his team, well, they are only 5-11 in close ball games, which is kind of interesting as Springer hits the jump shot when you consider the fact that they've got Jared Jordan at the point.
Well, certainly that's the guy you want the ball in his hands to be able to make decisions, and certainly that's the best part of his game. He's got great quickness, great vision to find people, but the thing that really makes him go is his decision making with the basketball in his hand.
This is a veteran Marist team against a veteran Iona team. Smith, a junior college transfer, lays it in for his first 2, and as you talked about, he dropped 27 on Iona back in February. Those are his first 2 tonight.
And 24 of those were in the first half. Amazingly enough, Smith puts up great numbers in the first half and then fades in the second. Same thing happened last night.
Burt off the mark with the 3, and Springer the offensive rebound.
Well, Springer gave him a spring last night, doing a terrific job in double figures. As you mentioned, Doug, it was their front court that really was the story last night.
Burt was the other part of that story last night. He connects and now has 5 early points.
He can score them in bunches. When you talk about scores, certainly the MAAC is full of them. 3rd leading scorer in the MAAC, but that's good for 6th in the country.
Entry pass knocked out of bounds by Springer, so the Red Foxes keep possession. Ricky Soliver, you get a good look at the Mohawk there. He's been working on it all year. Jeff Rulin, part of the great legacy at Iona College. And in the 25-year history of this league, it's been the most successful team. Iona has gone 6 times as the tournament champ into the NCAA.
And out of the baseline, out of bounds situation, they go zone and then mix it up by trapping the basketball. One thing you've got to do with this Marist team is you've got to figure out ways to disrupt their offense. They're as good as it gets as far as executing and a half-court offense.
Well, this Iona team has shown that it is tournament tested. It can win 3 in a row. That's how it began the season at the Cyclone Classic out at Iowa State, including beating the then 22nd ranked Cyclones for that title, trying to win 3 in a row to end the year here in Albany.
And one of those road wins, they seem to feed off the crowd going against them. Haven't had as good a year at home. They lost 4 games in the MAAC at home. Didn't lose on the road until that regular season finale against Manhattan.
A carry called against James Smith, and it takes us to our first media timeout. We will show you our Star Watch players who in the early going are living up to their billing. The assist man, Jared Jordan, inside to James Smith. And then Steve Burt, the 6th leading scorer in the country with the jumper, 6'4" Iona.
What are you looking for in a college? Cutting-edge academic programs, a faculty that's second to none, great recreational opportunities and residence halls? How about a college that will provide you with the education you need to become a leader in your profession and in your community? If that's what you're looking for in a college, you'll find it at Canisius. To learn more about Canisius College, call 1-800-843-1517 or visit us on the web at canisius.edu. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
Back in Albany with the MAAC semifinals, and this Iona team is the highest scoring team in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference at 80 points per game. They showed that last night and jumping to an 11-0 lead, but so far tonight a little bit sluggish out of the game.
Yeah, both teams basically trying to feel their way. Iona with a couple quick possessions. One of the keys for them is to make sure that they share the basketball. Can't just be one and done, one pass and shot.
Marvin McCullough at the point with Steve Burt, Kirill Waxman, Gary Springer, and Ricky Soliver, who's got the ball right now. Waxman, who had a huge game in round 2. Springer around the rim and out. Smith the rebound.
They've been able to get Springer freed up at the high post, going a little high-low with he and Waxman.
Whittington fouled by Soliver after a nice up fake.
Soliver, the MAAC Defensive Player of the Year, a guy that will really get out and put pressure on the basketball.
That's our first foul of this second semifinal.
Marist gets such good ball movement in their half-court offense.
There's an assist for Jordan as Whittington cans the 3.
He's a guy that can really stroke it from deep. His 101st three-point shot on the season. A Marist single-season record.
Well, he scored a game-high 17 points in the victory over Canisius last night, and he has his first 3 here tonight. Look for Kirill Waxman here. He has been huge the last 2 years in the MAAC tournament. He averaged a double-double last year as a junior in postseason play, and he's doing the same thing here as a senior.
And again, it's the high-low. This time they flip-flop. It's Waxman at the high post as Springer sits up inside. And with both guys' ability to score it on the high post and low post, you can't double.
And, you know, he really used last year's MAAC tournament as a springboard into his senior year. He's really maintained that this year. Stilfen with the nice seal. Springer was late coming over, and Stilfen takes it strong to the goal.
Now, he's a quiet warrior, their best low post scorer. Had a good game in the second game against Iona. 16 points on the road in that win, most of them in the low post.
And he had 9 points and 12 boards last night. Ricky Soliver for 3.
Soliver was very quiet as far as scoring the basketball last night. Just had 3 points, which snapped a string of 23 consecutive double-figure games.
Jordan on the pick and roll to Stilfen, waits for Springer to go by, and then he picks up the foul and a chance for 3.
And that's where Jared Jordan is at his best, finding people off that high ball screen, and Stilfen able to finish it. Stilfen clearing space inside, throws the first defender off, and then goes right through the contact. And right there off that high ball screen, able to find Stilfen inside.
Stilfen was on the MAAC All-Rookie team a year ago as a redshirt freshman. Now the 6'8" sophomore from Bay Village, Ohio, averaging 12 points, 7 rebounds a game, and he's got 7 points already tonight.
And certainly a lot of people thought that maybe Stilfen should have found himself on one of the MAAC teams, the MAAC third team. Instead, it was his teammate Whittington who ended up on the MAAC third team.
Shea McNamara has replaced Stilfen in the Marist lineup. The Red Foxes by 1. Iona with the basketball.
Talking to Matt Brady earlier today, said he thought it was important to make sure that he got more minutes from his bench here tonight.
Soliver hits his second from downtown.
Even though he didn't score it last night, he certainly has throughout the season. Averaged over 16 points per game, 45% from beyond the three-point line.
Jordan looking for Smith on the post, instead goes the other way to Whittington. Shot clock under 20. Smith trying to add to that 3-point total for the Red Foxes, and we've got a rebounding foul.
Carl Hood a little too aggressive on the offensive glass. He hurt Iona in both their games on the boards.
14-12 Iona. Keep in mind that the second round didn't end until early this morning here inside the Pepsi Arena, so this Marist team has a relatively short turnaround. Now, that's the nature of the tournament. In all tournaments, everybody gets a short night's sleep, and you've got to prepare quickly. But on his way out of the arena last night, Marist head coach Matt Brady said, yep, we're going to watch tape right now. There's no time like the present.
Well, one of the things we all make a big deal about playing 4 games in 4 days. These guys in the AAU circuit that they all play in every summer play 3 and 4 games every day.
Carol Waxman with the turnaround. He's got 4 early.
Sometimes we forget the energy that these guys have, and certainly these are different games. Take a little bit more out of you, but they're used to playing multiple games on the same day, let alone multiple games in consecutive days.
Whittington and Jordan. There's Jordan, spins into Kenny Jackson and is called for the travel.
Trying to do a little bit too much with the basketball right there. Jordan, as we talked about, had 6 turnovers last night. Uncharacteristic for Jordan, a guy who had a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio during MAAC games this regular season.
And he averaged 10 assists per game during conference play. It really is a remarkable statistic.
Now, you talked about it. If you were in a playground and you were going to pick somebody to play on your team, that's who you'd pick. You want shots.
Kelly just into the game.
He wanted a shot.
And
not the shot his coach wanted, though.
I'm guessing he might not be long for the floor if he keeps that up. Will Whittington has it rattle out. Anthony Bruin tried to take it from Kelly, and as it turns out, the Red Foxes come away with another offensive possession.
Kelly doesn't have a green light, but Whittington certainly does. He's a guy that can let it fly from deep. He's had 2 games already this season where he's made 8 threes. Matt Brady said, yeah, he should make 8 threes every game. He's that good a shooter.
You know, the season high was 30 in this building against Siena back in January. Ricky Soliver into the front court with the pull-up over Ben Farmer. And it's Farmer who eventually grabs the rebound. Whittington fouled on the 3. Burt picks up the personal, and Whittington will go to the line.
Well, you got to get out and challenge him, but you got to make sure you don't get contact.
Ricky Soliver, the senior out of All Hallows High School in New York City, giving the Gales the early lift. It's 16-12, Iona on top of Marist.
450 years of Jesuit tradition are woven into a Fairfield University education, an education characterized by academic excellence and service to the community. Fairfield's success is fostered by a caring faculty that knows their students as individuals. Located just an hour from New York City, Fairfield University combines a park-like campus conducive to learning with the city's cultural and career advantages. Fairfield University.
Iona 16, Marist 12, midway through the first half. And as we celebrate the 25-year anniversary of the MAAC, let's take a look back at a great moment in Iona history. It was exactly how they envisioned it. Coach Jim Belvano had urged forward Jeff Rulin to visualize dominating the nation's best team. And Rulin, the All-American, did just that with 30 points and 21 rebounds against eventual national champion Louisville. It was the last game the Cardinals would lose that year. Jeff Rulin trying to get back to the big dance this year as the head coach of the Gales. They've won it 6 times. They've won the MAAC tournament 6 times. And his team on top right now 16-12. The winner of this one gets St. Peter's tomorrow night in the MAAC championship game here at 9 o'clock. It'll be carried on ESPN 2 from the Pepsi Arena. Will Whittington at the line for the Red Foxes. The junior from Kingwood, Texas, gets the first of 3. He was fouled by Steve Burt on his 3-point attempt.
Talked about it last night. Surprisingly, Marist, with all their skilled players and the way they shoot the basketball from beyond the 3-point line, not a very good foul shooting team, just 68% on the season.
Whittington gets 2 out of 3. And it's back to a 2-point game. Steve Burt off the dribble, off the hesitation, trying to work on Farmer, does so successfully, and he's got 6.
Quick with the dribble, able to probe the defense and find a spot in the lane.
Jackson guards Jordan. Miles Orman has come into the game for Marist. He's number 5 in red. This is Shea McNamara driving right around Mount Kelly.
Well, able to take Kelly away from the basket, where all of a sudden now the mismatch clearly in Marist's favor. McNamara with the quick first step to get by Kelly. Kelly's got to be planted in the low post, leaning his body on somebody. Doesn't have the quickness to defend outside.
Well, McNamara at 6'8", 220 pounds is not typically looking at a mismatch where he's the quicker of the two in the post. There's Kelly where he needs to be, down by the rim.
Well, if they exploit you on the defensive end, you've got to exploit them on the offensive end.
Here's that matchup again. Kelly gives ground on McNamara, who doesn't drive. Orman saves to Jordan. Shot clock at 17. And McNamara fires an air ball. Ricky Soliver with the dribble. Back to Anthony Bruin. Talk about guys who only shoot from in close. Anthony Bruin, number 30 in white, is certainly that. Rebound comes out to Jackson. Had it knocked away by Orman on his drive to the hole. Every Marist player on a defensive rebound gets the head up quickly and looks for Jordan. There's a foul, and Whittington will go back to the line, and that's 2 on Steve Burt.
And certainly Burt, a guy they need to have on the floor. His scoring ability, 25 per game.
And you can see the hunched over shoulders. And for the second time, Whittington has gotten Burt to foul him on the jump shot.
And he's got him off the floor that time with the ball fake. He's a good enough shooter. As soon as he left his feet, he tried to pull back. Whittington smartly leaned in to make sure he got the contact.
Marvin McCullough and Gary Springer come back into the game. John Kelly takes a seat next to Kiro Waxman. And also Steve Burt has left the game with his 2 personal fouls. Whittington now 4 out of 5 from the line. And it's back to a 2-point ball game. Iona by 2 with possession.
Now Soliver becomes the focus of their offense. With Burt on the bench, he's the guy that can score it.
He missed on that shot. Gary Springer gets fouled after having grabbed the rebound. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective.
But Springer, a guy who's got good size and athleticism inside, gives matchup problems for a lot of teams, especially this front line of Marist. Springer, good energy inside in the paint.
And after a few minutes on the bench, Kirill Waxman comes back in for Iona. Marvin McCullough studies the defense and passes off to Soliver.
And Waxman and McNamara tangling up inside, really working for inside post position.
Nice job by McNamara on defense to get around Waxman and knock the ball out of bounds. Whistle and a hold before the inbound.
Yeah, Waxman was trying to once again shape up in the low post, and McNamara grabbed them around the waist. Good call by the officials. It's a Marist team that does not foul a whole lot.
Then a traveling violation as Iona continues to try and pound it inside to Waxman.
And that's how Marist defends you. They don't come out and challenge and try and trap and create turnovers. Instead, Matt Brady's team, he says, we just try and stay in front of you and force you to shoot over top. It's worked for them. They lead the MAAC as far as field goal percentage defense is concerned, holding teams to under 43%.
Whittington took his eye off the pass from Farmer, and Kenny Jackson picked it up for the Gales.
Sometimes if you're just solid defensively, it works out.
Jackson hits the three.
Not solid that time. Late closeout by Farmer. Jackson able to get a good clean look.
And the junior from Des Moines Area Community College out in Iowa, who's a Boston native, continues to be a terrific spark off the bench for the Gales.
And Jordan got away with the travel.
Then he makes a nice pass to Orman. And he has a chance for three.
Now you've got to keep that guy out of the lane. If you allow Jordan to get himself into the paint, you're in trouble.
We'll take a timeout. Iona has itself a 23-20 lead, but Miles Orman and the Red Foxes try to inch a little bit closer. He'll be at the free throw line when we come back with a chance for a three-point play here on the MAAC Television Network.
Welcome to Marist College, a liberal arts college bridging the traditions of the past with the tools of the future. Drawing inspiration from the historical, cultural, and artistic heritage of the Hudson River Valley, and supported by a unique partnership with its neighbor, IBM, Marist College holds fast to the timeless values of its rich heritage, while embracing advanced technology in the service of education.
I know most of you just graduated high school last year, or maybe you've been working for a while, seen some things, done some things, but nothing has prepared you for what's going to happen now. We're going to set goals for each of you, way up here, way up here, and then we're going to help you exceed them, believe it. And when finished, you're going to have not just a degree, you'll be a different person, a better person. Welcome to Iona.
Aspire, achieve. Iona. Call Iona College at 1-800-231-IONA.
23-20, Iona with a slim lead over Marist here at the Pepsi Arena in Albany. And here's the Broadway Marketing mind-bending trivia question for Game 2 of our semifinal doubleheader. How many times has the MAAC championship been decided by a single point? Broadway Marketing mind-bending branded solutions, and that's a question it's going to take a hardcore MAAC fan to come up with.
Well, yeah, you got to go online or find a book, because there's no way you're sitting at home and know the answer to that. And if you do, well, I don't know what's going on with the rest of your life.
You need to get out. You need to get out. Miles Orman at the line. Good look at the man who, as a youngster, appeared on Sesame Street. That's because his dad was a regular on Sesame Street. And he checks out of the game, replaced by James Smith. I got to tell you who the character was that his dad played. His father played, is it Roscoe?
I believe so. That should have been our trivia question.
Well, we'll get that another time.
Look at Anthony Bruin go over top of everybody for that offensive rebound.
Just couldn't get it to go back in last night's game, Bruin went 6 for 6 from the floor, and that gave him enough field goals to qualify for the MAAC lead in field goal percentage. He's at 72%.
I mean, my goodness. And as you said, he gets high percentage shots because he plays above the rim.
Farmer for 3.
And that's a difference. Iona's a team that's very athletic, can get to the rim and play above the rim. This Marist team, very skilled, spread you out and take full advantage of the three-point line.
And with Steve Burt on the bench, Marist has taken the lead. And now Anthony Bruin will go back to the line with a chance to retake the lead for the Gales.
And both teams going to their strengths. Good half-court execution from Marist on the other side that gets them the open 3. On this one, good athletic play here on the offensive glass. Bruin once again coming from nowhere over top of the Red Foxes to get himself an opportunity for the line. He may shoot it at 72% from the floor, but it's a struggle from the line, just 34% on the season coming in.
Although in the postseason, he has done much better than that and looked pretty good on that as he tied the ball game. First point tonight for Bruin. McCullough goes out and Burt comes back in to play with his 2 personal fouls. Jordan dribbles into the front court for the Red Foxes.
Iona continues to play behind the high ball screen when the basketball's in Jordan's hands.
Smith spotting up off the feed from Jordan.
And with Smith, you think of a 7-footer, you think pick and roll. Instead, it's pick and pop as the big guy's able to step it out from beyond the three-point line. Nearly 50% on the season in MAAC games from deep.
6:20 to go first half. Kirill Waxman backing Smith down. Off to Bruin, who missed the layup but gets the putback.
And how quick he is right there. Lands and right back up. That quick second jump is how you get offensive putbacks.
We're at the Pepsi Arena in Albany. Our second semifinal of the MAAC tournament. This is Doug Sherman along with Rob Kennedy, and we're enjoying the Jared Jordan show as he puts the Red Foxes on top by 3.
Talk about his decision making. Instead of coming to the screen, doesn't accept it. Instead, the blow by speed to get to the rim from the right side.
Soliver for 3.
Well, that's a guarded 3 because Smith, the 7-footer, came out to challenge.
Up ahead, Smith, fouled by Waxman.
Well, Jordan always pushing the pace, always looking up when the basketball gets in his hands. That's a terrific catch by Smith. Smith's 7 foot, but nothing lumbering about him. He gets up and down the floor. He's got good spring.
Yeah, he is very fluid. At 7 feet, 240 pounds. He went to Westchester Community College before transferring to the Division I level at Marist.
And you hardly ever see that at this level. You get a 7-footer, it's more like a guy like Kelly. Big body, a little slow, but certainly he's got the ability to step guys out on the perimeter. We saw it with the 3, and that was a great run and catch on the break. We talked about the fact that Jordan will find you coming off that pick and pop. Smith right there able to knock it down, and then Jordan, instead of taking the high ball screen, fakes as if he's going in there. A little drag with his left to finish before the defense could challenge. He's crafty.
A crafty right-hander. You don't see that every day. Smith
it always
makes them both. It's a crafty left-hander you always talk about.
And certainly Iona's got a few of those. Ricky Soliver very crafty with the basketball.
Yeah. Guy with the ball now, Marvin McCullough, crafty as well. Steve Burt not so crafty, just straightforward, put it in your face and put it through the rim.
With a little arc on it as well, gets himself into the lane. As we said, has that balance. Even when he's fading away, he's got everything in balance, able to get a good shot off in the lane.
5:10 left in the first half. The pass to Smith taken away by Soliver. 3-on-2 Gales. Soliver takes it to the hole himself, and he will shoot 2 free throws.
And the loss at home, certainly turnovers a big story for Marist. Turned it over 17 times, which led to a number of fast break points for Iona. That's exactly what happened on that play. Turnover, and Ricky Soliver pushing the pace, trying to turn it into 2 from the line.
And I've been watching Jared Jordan over with head coach Matt Brady, now getting some encouragement. Jordan really is fighting himself, and last night and tonight he has forced a lot of balls that he normally doesn't. He just had another turnover on the entry pass, and he is, like I say, fighting himself and talking to a former star point guard in Matt Brady, trying to get some reassurance over there.
Well, that's one of the things that Matt Brady certainly does a great job of, instilling confidence in his players. He's always encouraging guys to take shots when they're open. You never see him all of a sudden get mad at somebody for taking a shot. He wants guys to have the confidence when the ball leaves their hands that it's going in.
Ricky Soliver with a couple of foul shots has given Iona the lead back at 33-31 with under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Stilfen on the mismatch. Burt flops, no call. Stilfen with a layup.
Well, if you flop and you get the call, it works out. If you don't, now all of a sudden they've got numbers inside in the paint.
Well, on the switch, Bruin defensively was out on the perimeter, and Marist did a good job of recognizing that. Burt misses the runner. Smith tips it out to McCullough. Soliver trying to reclaim the lead. He does.
Well, he's got the ability to stop on a dime. He and Burt do such a great job of creating space by stopping off the dribble. Once they get the separation, able to raise up and knock it down.
And while Soliver got his only 3 points last night late in the game, he's already got 13 tonight.
Well, he came out firing. First couple times he touched the basketball.
Stilfen out to Smith, again spotting up, and the 7-footer finds nothing but net.
Can't double off him into the post. He's got the ability to step up, face up, and knock down deep shots.
He went for 13 and 6 against Canisius last night. He's already got 10 points to help the Red Foxes here tonight.
Sometimes it's matchups. Certainly he enjoys the matchup against Iona.
Waxman left alone for a moment, and he slams it down.
Now good feet over top to find him. We've got a little pace going here right now, Doug.
37-36. They seesaw. The Gales back on top.
In both games, Marist shot the ball well against Iona, over 50% in both of those games. There's the seesaw.
3:15 to go in the half. Stilfen posting Bruin, but Jordan didn't want to try and lob over the top. Instead, they get it to him from a different angle. Stilfen then with a jump hook.
And that's a solid finish because he took the contact from Bruin, who had good solid post defense, just able to knock down the nice jump hook on the baseline.
Under 3 minutes left in the first half. The winner of this semifinal will face St. Peter's tomorrow night at 9 o'clock for the MAAC title.
And how about Marist? Talk about offensive execution, 68% from the field.
Soliver lob inside Waxman, around Smith, and Waxman with a reverse layup.
Iona pretty good themselves, well above 50%. So right now both teams doing a very good job executing offensively. Somebody's got to step up and get some stops with their defense.
Well, as I mentioned, Iona is the top scoring team in the league, averaging 80 per game, and that's exactly what they got in their second round game last night. Farmer for 3. Both of these offenses running very efficiently right now.
What you call it in the open, a well-oiled machine. Right now, Marist offense very well-oiled. Farmer, who had a very big game last night, 11 points, including 2 real key 3-pointers that helped keep Canisius at bay.
Marist back on top by 2 with under 2 to go here in the half. Burt pops, and he's fouled by Carl Hood. So here come 3 free throws for Burt.
Well, he didn't get it on the defensive flop at one end, but got it right here with the offensive flop. An opportunity to get a few from the line.
Ricky Soliver, the senior guard from New York City, with 13 points for the Iona Gales. Nonetheless, they find themselves trailing James Smith of the Red Foxes by 2. (41-39), Marist holding a 2-point lead in this game that's been seesawing here in the first half. And let's get back to our Broadway Marketing mind-bending trivia question. How many times has the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Championship been decided by 1 point? I didn't know the answer. Rob didn't know the answer, but now you know the answer. 4 times, 83, 92, 93, and 04. That was Fordham beating Iona by a point, LaSalle beating Manhattan by a point, and then the Jaspers beating Niagara in 93 and 04. Broadway Marketing mind-bending branded solutions, and that certainly was trivia.
And mind-bending. Hence a mind-bending trivia question.
Hence the title.
Right on cue.
1:44 to go in the first half, and Steve Burt at the line to shoot 3. His 25 points per game is the highest for a single season in Iona college history.
And so much this weekend has been made with Kiki Clark's chase of 3,000. If Stevie Burt can get himself into the championship game, he's got a realistic possibility of going over the 2,000 point mark.
Well, he's coming into the game having scored 700 points this year and actually 32 points away from his dad. Now, again, he won't catch his dad for career scoring.
Right.
They're 1 and 2 on the list. But he has a real chance to catch his dad for single season points.
And coming into tonight needs 47 points to get to 2,000. You had figured he'd need a couple games to get to that mark, and certainly hoping that he's got one more game left in him as Jeff Ruland trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time as a coach of the Gales.
And Burt with 2 fouls, being protected now by his head coach. Taken out of the game, having scored 11 so far this evening. He had 25 last night.
And Burt able to get some minutes and get some points without picking up a foul. And Farmer right now starting to feel it from beyond the 3.
55% on the year, and he has 3 from beyond the arc here tonight.
And Marist now goes zone, trying to give him a different look defensively.
Soliver and McCullough man the backcourt. Marshall has come into the game to play with Jackson and Bruin for the Gales.
And Soliver working along the baseline. Can't lose sight of him out of the zone. They did.
And as you say, Rob, he will hit that shot. 16 points now for Soliver.
And on the baseline, he forces the closeout from Smith. He's got the size, just not the quickness to get out there in time.
And with that, the Gales reclaim the lead at 45-44.
Although you would think Smith does have the quickness to get out there, maybe didn't have the effort.
Jordan crosses over McCullough, uses the up fake, and we've got a goaltend. Red Foxes back on top as Marshall caught the ball on a downward flight.
There you go. Finish it off. You had it. You had it going.
I was going downward.
Textbook step through right here as Jordan gets the ball fake, gets McCullough out of the way. Bruin great rotation over. Athletic play, all for naught. We have another C or saw. I'm not sure which.
Well, these two teams met early in the year, back in November, or rather in December. Bruin fouled on the putback. Rarely do you have many regular season league games in December, but these two teams did meet. And in that game, Justin Marshall, of all people, hit the game-winning three-point shot with 40 seconds to go. That was back on December the 11th.
Just 2 threes on the season, including that game winner. It was a banked 3 at Iona that allowed Marist to get the win. So certainly, you know, 2 unlikely three-point shots that basically were the difference in both those ball games.
And the way this game is started, it'll come right down to the wire as well. This season, Aeropostale will donate an article of clothing for every free throw made during conference play. And at the end of the season, Aeropostale and the MAAC will distribute these clothes to youth groups in our communities. Thank you very much, Aeropostale. Anthony Bruin gets 1 out of 2, and we're tied at 46.
And Marist will hold for the last shot, and you can pretty much be assured that Jared Jordan will have the basketball in his hands to try and initiate late in the shot clock.
And here comes Jordan taking the handoff from Stilton with under 5 seconds left. Whittington with 2 seconds to go. Gonna have to get it off. And he shoots an air ball. Well, it's about as close and competitive as you'd want. Will Whittington and the Red Foxes trying to upset number 2 Iona. They go to the locker room tied at 46 apiece.
And a well-played first half, especially from the offensive end. Both teams shooting the basketball extremely well.
We'll take a break, and when we come back to the Pepsi Arena, we'll tell you more about Ricky Soliver and the Gales. His 16 points enable the Gales to be tied with the Red Foxes, 46 apiece. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this.
It's a college in the city.
A college in the country.
It's big.
It's small.
It's modern.
Traditional.
It's Frisbee on the quad.
It's big-time basketball at the Garden.
It's the best of all worlds.
Manhattan College.
A world-class faculty and student body on a beautiful, quiet campus.
Minutes from the center of everything.
So come be a part of it. Manhattan College.
The best of all worlds.
Tied up at 46 at the intermission back here at the Pepsi Arena in Albany. Our leading scorer individually, Ricky Soliver with 16 points, 11 for Steve Burt for the Gales. Ryan Stilfen has 11 for Marist. James Smith, 10 for the Red Foxes. And in case you missed it, we had a thriller in the opening semifinal, Kedron Clark and the St. Peter's Peacocks eliminated Manhattan. Take a look back, and it was the Kiki Clark show.
Especially early on in the first half, he really set the tone, came out with a ton of energy, firing from deep. He had a big first half. His 18 points certainly set the tone and let Manhattan know that they were in for a game. And then in the second half, his teammates stepped up. When he needed to bail him out, he was there to do that on the offensive glass. Mom Rosie all excited that she's going to get a chance to see Kiki play another game.
One coach says congratulations. The other says good luck tomorrow night in the MAAC Finals. Manhattan head coach Bobby Gonzalez wishing him well. And there is one of the Peacocks, Mr. Hooker, hanging out in Albany, waiting to
all smiles.
Play tomorrow night. Plenty of reason to smile because St. Peter's, with a 16-14 record, will play for a spot in the NCAA tournament tomorrow night.
And certainly a terrific run, winning their first 3 games. Had to survive a second-round game and survive a missed shot by Mike Beers in the left corner to get into the semifinals, and then had that burst of energy. Looked like they had plenty in their tank. Late in that game, they were the team that showed a lot more poise coming down the stretch.
Well, in that first semifinal, St. Peter's shot 50%, including 11 of 21 from beyond the arc. Kiki was 5 for 9 from 3. He had 29 points to lead the way. Meanwhile, our game track in game number 2, we update the Star Watch. Jared Jordan has been relatively quiet, while Steve Burt, despite having 2 early fouls, with 11 points for the Gales.
And the reason why St. Peter's will be playing in the final is in that second half, they clamped it down defensively. Which team will clamp it down here? That'll be the story.
Carol Waxman called for the offensive foul. Waxman, Springer, Soliver, Burt, and McCullough, the same starting 5 for the Gales here in the second half. James Smith, Will Whittington, Carl Hood, Jared Jordan, and Ryan Stilfen in their road red uniforms. The Red Foxes from Marist with the ball. As we said in the first half, there are more folks in the stands here in Albany from Poughkeepsie rooting for the Red Foxes. So for Iona, in spite of wearing their home white uniforms, it must feel a little bit more like a road game than it does for Marist.
On the flare screen, Jordan never able to get his feet underneath him to get that good balance.
Second foul against Whittington, and the first here in the second half.
If you don't get your feet set on that flare screen and step back into the shot, most of the time you're going to leave it short, just as he did.
Here's Steve Burt. Springer from the high post, left alone, and he connects.
They've been able to get some good shots out of the high-low. He started the game knocking down a couple foul shots. He's able to get isolation at the high post right at the foul line because of the isolation inside with Waxman.
Last night, Springer, in 15 minutes before fouling out, did very well. 4 for 4 from the floor, 10 points. Had 5 rebounds, and he's been able to keep himself on the floor a little bit more here tonight. But again, that front line trio of Springer, Waxman, and Bruin was the big difference last night. Smith saves toward the basket, and Waxman pulls it down. I don't know if they'll give Smith a shot on that. Technical foul called in transition
on James Smith, a guy who's known for yapping a bit sometimes, both at opposing players and officials. This time it hurts his team.
And so it's his first personal on the technical, and he'll be replaced by Miles Orman. Steve Burt at the line to shoot the technical. Head coach Matt Brady encouraging James Smith to come over. He wants to talk to his junior center who just got the technical foul and allowed Iona to get a free point.
You see Matt Brady talking to him right there. He said this is a work in progress. James Smith, a very talented player with his size and how he moves on the floor and his ability to step it out, really could be a dominant player in the league.
Burt, quick release from the left wing for 3. He's got 15.
That was with Hood rushing out at him. Quick release by Stevie Burt over top of the defense. Good start for Iona. here in this second half.
A quick 6-0 run in the first 2 minutes has given the Gales the lead by a half a dozen.
There's the quick release right over top of the defense.
The Red Foxes trying to answer at the other end. Here's Miles Orman just into the game.
And the answer has to be with good offense. You got to make shots so they can't get out in transition. Good execution, nice screen in for Whittington, one of the best three-point shooters not only in the MAAC but in the country.
Whittington now into double figures. 17:30 to go in regulation. Burt again, this time off the up fake from the left wing. And he gets the roll. Somebody grabbed a hold of the net on the way by, but no harm, no foul, I guess.
Might have helped it. That soft shot once he gets himself in the lane for those runners.
17 points now for Burt.
Quick shot and quick miss allows Iona to attack quickly.
And that's Ricky Soliver doing the attacking, and it's now 56-49, 3 minutes in to the second half. It's all of a sudden a 7-point ball game.
And that's not what Matt Brady wants to see. Quick shots that allow Jeff Ruland's team to get out in transition where they are at their best.
Well, Jeff Ruland has talked about no disrespect to anybody else in this MAAC. If his team plays well, they should win. And here early in the second half, they're playing well. They've opened up a 56-49 lead with timeout on the floor. We'll be back to the Pepsi Arena in Albany as the MAAC semifinals roll on. Iona 56, Marist 49. James Smith pondering that technical foul he got moments ago. Fidelis Care is proud to sponsor the Fidelis Care family section. Fidelis Care providing free or low-cost health insurance to all New Yorkers through the Child and Family Health Plus programs. Thousands of New Yorkers here at the Pepsi Arena checking out the MAAC tournament this weekend. The MAAC title game tomorrow night, 9 o'clock on ESPN2 between St. Peter's and either the Red Foxes or the Gales. And Iona is perfect from the floor here in the second half. Meanwhile, Marist down to 70% from the field. Whittington raining down threes.
Well, once again, it's a screen in that gets him the wide open look straight on from the top of the key. The double screen, too tough to fight over top of it.
And what was the largest lead of the game at 7 has been cut down to 4.
And one thing with Marist, the way they shoot the three and the way they take advantage of the three, they're never out of a game. They average nearly 9 threes per game. That's best in the MAAC.
Burt getting a little fancy with it, and Hood took it away.
And Hood, one of the better defenders in the league. He and Burt get tangled up as they come up court.
And good for Joe DeMeo, the official, to warn Steve Burt, who clearly, after getting stolen, having the ball stolen, gave a little shove to Hood. Stilfen had the rebound go through his hands. It comes back out to Jordan.
And on that last play, Jordan a little too unselfish. He had himself deep into the lane, got the defender in the air, go finish, instead kicked it out.
Jordan off the crossover to the basket and the finger roll.
Yeah, once you get that deep, go ahead and score the basketball. Marist responding off the timeout. They've got the lead back down to 2.
Now only 4 points for Jordan, who comes in averaging 16 points per game, 8th best in the league, but he has not gotten many points here this weekend. Nonetheless, he has pulled the Red Foxes back within 2. Burt looking for the foul call, doesn't get it, but he does get the 3.
And one of the things that Stevie Burt does as he fades back, his feet get out in front of him. That's one of the reasons why he often gets tangled up. How about the presence of mind to stay with it, to finish the 3, and Jordan matches it back at this end.
You know who was a master at doing that? What you were talking about with Steve Burt was Reggie Miller.
Yeah, absolutely. Kicking his feet out, getting tangled up, flopping to the floor. Still making the shot, though. That's the key.
Soliver uses the Waxman screen, and we've got a major collision. Stilfen is called for the block, and Soliver comes up holding his left elbow.
And Soliver's been banged up all season long, got banged up on that ball screen and high hedge.
Jordan with the penetration, and then both teams go outside. Steve Burt with 3 of his 20 points, and then Jordan, after we said needs to start scoring some points, steps out and drains the 3. We've got a 2-point game.
What was most interesting about those papers?
The biggest
biggest thing I think is that NU is a lot more challenging.
The topic for today's class is going to be community policing.
They have high expectations, but I think it helps you, prep for the real world.
I've been teaching the DARE program.
They give you a chance to actually talk to professionals in that field. You know you're going to end up somewhere great because they've given you what you need to succeed. I would like to get my master's here at NU, and then I want to be in the FBI. High hopes, huh? My name is Asha. My school is Niagara University.
Ricky Soliver is a long and lithe 6'3", 175 pounds, but with that, he is not always able to absorb a blow, and that was a major collision moments ago with Ryan Stilfen.
Coming off the high ball screen, Stilfen hedges it, shows numbers, and no matter how you look at it, whatever the angle, that one hurt.
Soliver with his 18 points to lead all scorers, but we'll see as he came up holding his left elbow if that collision comes into play at all.
Matt Brady trying to ponder how his team's going to be able to come up with some stops. Right now, Iona has been able to stretch the lead out. His team has executed offensively last couple times down to get the lead back down to 2.
Soliver, I guess the elbow's okay.
Apparently absorbed that contact, didn't bother him there. Again, stepping right into that, ton of confidence. He has not hesitated one bit to pull the trigger here tonight.
Pass to Miles Orman, nice up fake, gets Bruin out of the way, and that's a nice looking layup for the Red Fox.
Nice slip and dive into the lane off the screen. Found himself open, good finish with the offhand.
And I should tell you that his father, Roscoe, played Gordon on Sesame Street. Soliver lays it in. On my notes before the game, I had written Roscoe played Roscoe, and obviously I messed that one up. So it was Gordon.
Well, you corrected it. Terrific play right there. Ricky Soliver overplayed on the wing, goes backdoor, and McCullough put it right on the money to finish the play.
Soliver up to 22. Burt's got
There's another
20.
backdoor.
Stilfen, or rather Whittington with the layup, and he's now got 15.
That's how you're going to break the pressure. Wing denial, you're overplayed. Plant, go backdoor. Both players doing a great job reading it, and their teammates find them with a terrific pass.
Iona perfect from the field in the second half. Foul against Orman on the entry pass to Bruin, a non-shooting foul. And again, this has been a pretty cleanly played ball game. Very few turnovers, very few fouls. There's the backdoor pass from Stilfen to Whittington.
Well, Whittington's such a good shooter. The Soliver's out, and wing denial trying to keep the basketball out of his hands. That's how you break the pressure.
McCullough, Soliver. Just like that, he's got 24 points.
Tell you what, they keep defending like that, they may be able to keep shooting it at that pace. A perfect 8 for 8 from the floor now because Marist just not stepping up and defending. We said which team would do it. Neither of them have really stepped up and defended here in the first few minutes of the second.
Marist down by 4. Jordan to Whittington. And Carl Hood. Orman loses the handle, 10 to shoot. Whittington gets it to his point guard, the all-star, Jared Jordan, who spins in on McCullough. And a foul underneath on McCullough as Waxman came over and blocked it up top.
Sensing that his team needs him to step up and score the basketball here in this second half. He's been a little less unselfish, got himself deep into the lane, and why not take that shot? That's a smart play, good decision. He had McCullough in trouble deep in the lane.
And you can see Jared Jordan, who is in tremendous shape. He leads the nation in on-court percentage. And that means he has been on the floor for 97% of the Red Foxes games so far this year.
And this is just a defensive breakdown. You see Stilfen tries to play him off to somebody else, tries to pass him. There's nobody to pass him to. Instead, Soliver able to get the easy layup inside.
Jordan gets 1 out of 2, and the junior from Hartford now has 8 points. It's back to a 3-point ball game.
Marist showed zone just a couple of possessions in that first half, and with Iona getting after it and executing off of their half-court offense against man-to-man, switch it up.
Bruin works along the low post and lays it in.
Doesn't matter. Man zone. Iona scoring the basketball. Just too easy right now.
Jordan, fouled by Jackson, who's called for a hand check.
Iona continues to find easy baskets, this time against the zone. Bruin moving without the basketball, flashing into the middle of the zone offense. And as we said, a guy that will score it inside, 72% from the field because he gets shots like that.
Shea McNamara has returned to the lineup for Marist, and he's immediately got his pocket picked by Soliver. Soliver gets it back on what looked like could have been a kickball. And instead, he gets it back and will go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws.
Well, Soliver stepping up and defending the basketball as he has done all year long. The defensive player of the year in the MAAC because he's so good at stripping basketballs. There's the kick, but it bounces right back up into his hands. He'll have an opportunity to get 2 from the line.
Foul on Miles Orman. He is his second. And foul number 5 on the Red Foxes here in the second half.
You see Soliver with a monster game so far, 24 points, and really came out firing. First time he touched the basketball, stepped right into a 3, hit that, and since then hasn't looked back.
Now James Smith will replace Orman. You remember Smith left the game a few minutes ago after getting a technical foul.
And he's got to change the trend to playing well in the first half and not doing anything in the second half. Marist needs him to step up and be an offensive factor here in the second half.
Soliver nearing his season high, which came back in November when he scored 30 in a non-league game against Portland State. He's got 26 so far tonight.
And last time Iona stretched the lead out to 7. Marist had answers on the offensive end. It was Whittington from 3.
And there's Soliver again with a rebound, and he sensed Jordan coming from behind and picked up his dribble just at the right time.
As if he had eyes in the back of his head, as if Stevie Bird had eyes in the back of his head. Little look away and finish on the left side. Marist got to settle down and get a score here on this possession.
What a fake. James Smith is still looking for Steve Burt. 22 now for Burt. Whittington fouled on the drive by Burt. And that's his 3rd. Steve Burt putting on a show. He and fellow senior guard Ricky Soliver trying to lead the Iona Gales past the Marist Red Foxes. Check out the moves by Mr. Burt.
Welcome to Marist College, a liberal arts college bridging the traditions of the past with the tools of the future. Drawing inspiration from the historical, cultural, and artistic heritage of the Hudson River Valley, and supported by a unique partnership with its neighbor, IBM, Marist College holds fast to the timeless values of its rich heritage, while embracing advanced technology in the service of education.
Where the dream of success comes true.
At the last time out, I posed the question, how would that collision affect Ricky Soliver? Well, I guess in the last 4 minutes, Rob, I've gotten my answer.
Well, I don't know if it knocked sense into him, but certainly it got him going because he responded very well coming off the bench after the timeout. He steps up and just goes after it. Knocks down the shot, goes backdoor, coming up with another finish with contact. This one's an easy one. Breakdown defensively off the baseline out of bounds. Responded with 8 quick points after that collision. He certainly has been the difference tonight. Big difference from last night when he just had 3, but they didn't need him to score. Wasn't looking to shoot the basketball, just 5 attempts. He keeps playing like that. He'll be playing against that guy tomorrow night.
The head coach of St. Peter's, Bob Leckie, whose Peacocks have already reached the finals by upsetting the top-seeded Manhattan Jaspers earlier tonight. Coach Leckie checking things out here this evening, and he will be ready to go tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Waxman and Smith get tangled up. They were trying to establish Smith inside and get him a touch. You see Smith saying, I got banged from behind. Those two guys were both going at it inside.
So Waxman is called for his third foul. He goes out of the game. And Gary Springer back in. So Waxman has had not the type of game he had last night, where Soliver has picked up the scoring slack. Waxman only 8 points so far tonight. He had 20 against Niagara last night. Another whistle and a foul off the ball.
Bruin just trying to body up on that high ball screen. Just tried to push his way right through Stilfen, who is setting the screen. You see off the ball, Stilfen coming up to set that high ball screen for Jordan. Instead, that's one way to fight through it. Just push him out of the way.
Farmer looking to establish position to feed the post, and in so doing, he's called for a travel.
Well, he never established the pivot foot, I guess. Farmer didn't like it.
Here's a pretty calm, cool, and collected St. Peter's team. Yeah, we've won 3 in a row. Going to play for the MAAC tournament title tomorrow.
Text messaging. You can see it right there. Looking down at the phone. One guy's on the phone. Everybody else text messaging there.
Just hanging out. Another night in Albany. Nice job defensively by Stilfen. Looked like he might have baited Soliver into thinking that that passing lane was open to Bruin. Instead, he steps in and picks up the steal.
One of the few turnovers for Iona here tonight.
Well, the Red Foxes are going to have to start getting back at the offensive end like they did in the first half when they shot 70%. They're down by 9 with a shot clock down to 15. What a head fake. Jordan over to Whittington for 3. Well short. Springer gets the rebound.
They got a good look, though.
Burt kicks to the corner for Jackson.
Springer stepping up to the high post against the zone defense. He's been able to flash high. Whether it's man or zone, he's been able to find that soft spot against the D.
Backdoor pass to Burt, knocked away by Stilfen, who dives trying to get the turnover, but he can't do it. It's Iona ball, and it looks like Ricky Soliver again is slow to get up.
Bodies everywhere. Nice high ball screen right there by Bruin. Good defense by Stilfen and Hustle to go out of it. Good call by the official as well as the ball went off Jordan's shoulder.
Burt no. Soliver again throwing his body around the floor, and he winds up on the floor in spite of the bucket.
And that time he went down hard. You see him grabbing his calf there. Looks like maybe a cramp. He's been banged up all season long, but still not afraid to give up his body.
Well, he banged his elbow on the floor in the previous play, and then bangs his entire body on the floor, nonetheless with a chance for a 3-point play as we take another look.
And he comes out of nowhere right there. Gets undercut, not on purpose, but here he is moving without the basketball off the floor. That's the athleticism of Soliver, the athleticism of this Iona team. Matt Brady not happy, looking to try to get the timeout, not only to break this Iona run, but to try and get his team to start defending a little bit and finishing off plays on the backboards. Remember, Gales had a big advantage on the backboards in the first half. That's continuing here in the second.
Soliver with his 28 points. Like I said, he is 2 away from his season high, 3 away from his career high, which came in the MAAC tournament 2 years ago.
Yeah, 31 in the quarterfinals against Niagara.
So here's Soliver. The 18th all-time scorer in Iona College history sits down with 29 points tonight.
See the training staff coming over just to make sure he's all right. Looked good on that foul shot. Marist got to start looking good at the offensive end. After clicking early on, they've gone cold.
Down 12, now down 9. Timeout called. Jeff Rulin from the Iona bench. is yelling something to the officials.
Well, I think they're trying to figure out if there's blood on somebody, and I think that's what they've got. That was the whistle. Jared Jordan with some blood on his leg. Once again, it's the high ball screen. They go behind it, so Jordan makes him pay, even though McCullough recovers, knocks down the deep three, and realized as he picks up his shorts that he had a cut underneath, and they'll tend to that on the sideline. I think he's going to have to come out, though, to get that done. See Jordan trying to stay on the floor, saying, I'm all right, let's go play.
But there is clearly blood on the knee. With shorts these days, it's kind of hard to see the knees.
Well, as you said, he plays 97% of the minutes for his team, so he's a guy who's not used to coming out of the game. Refused to come out.
Yeah, he talked his way back into the game. 9:15 to go in regulation, 74-65. Burt working on Carl Hood, tries to use the screen and now does. Springer, who set the screen, gets the foul. Stilfen commits the personal.
And the physical play inside continues. We've seen bodies all over the place, not only in this game, but in the first game as well. Now Springer, as soon as the basketball goes up, he spins off of that screen. If you're going to be a good offensive rebounder, you have to constantly be moving, not allowing the defense to lay a body on you with the box out.
Hood up above the rim for the rebound.
And he can do that. Jordan trying to push the pace and then backs it up for the three.
Bruin the rebound. Jordan knocked it away, but McCullough able to save it up to Jackson.
Even though that's a ratty possession there for Iona, that's the pace they want to go at. Force Marist to take quick shots, rebound, and run.
Here's Bruin posting Farmer. Stilfen tries to help out. Bruin misses. And Stilfen with a rebound and a whistle. Jackson gets called for the push.
Well, this game had a ton of flow in the first half, and now all of a sudden with the physical play, it's slowed down a bit. Everything in the paint, bodies flying around. Officials trying to clean things up with a quick whistle.
This is the Citizens Bank MAAC Championship. The 2006 semifinals well underway. Along with Rob Kennedy, I'm Doug Sherman. Glad you could stay with us here on a Sunday night. And in spite of the physical play, both teams shooting over 60%.
Marist has come down after shooting 70% in the first half. Iona has come up, so certainly the Gales have shot it better here in the second half.
Stilfen now with a baker's dozen as Marist tries to hang close, 74-67.
And the Red Foxes are not a team that's going to necessarily come chase you, get you in some full court pressure and turn you over. They've just got to get solid defensive possessions. Don't get it that time.
Steve Burt with 25.
Once again, right on his season average. That's what he ended up with last night.
Hood blocked by Springer. Stilfen able to put it back in.
Well, the defensive rotation to come over and come up with the block, but nobody had a body on him.
Stilfen called for the foul. Burt will head back to the foul line.
A big bucket on the other side for Marist, but then Iona just rushes the ball up the floor, right up their back, and an opportunity to get two more from the line.
Ryan Stilfen and the Red Foxes down by 8 late in the second half.
I know most of you just graduated high school last year, or maybe you've been working for a while, seen some things, done some things, but nothing has prepared you for what's going to happen now. We're going to set goals for each of you. Way up here, here, way up here, and then we're going to help you exceed them. Believe it. And when finished, you're going to have not just a degree, you'll be a different person, a better person. Welcome to Iona.
Aspire, achieve. Iona. Call Iona College at 1-800-231-IONA.
Peter's College, success is a team effort. St. Peter's College, education one student at a time.
Jeff Ruland's Iona Gales with an 8-point lead late in the second half here in Albany. And this is the 25th anniversary of the MAAC, as we've been talking about all weekend. And we turn back the clock to 2002, where Siena, as the 7th seed, won 4 straight games to capture the MAAC tournament title. The Saints went on to win the NCAA opening round game out in Dayton over Alcorn State, 81-77. And then Siena became the 16th seed in the East region, but lost to the eventual national champion Maryland, 85-70. And you know who was a reserve on that Terrapins team?
Guy who we saw at the first round of the MAAC tournament.
Andre Collins of the Loyola Greyhounds. He transferred from Maryland to Loyola.
And Siena gave him fits there in that first half, even though it was a final score of 15. That game was much closer than that.
And now Steve Burt at the free throw line. He has 25 points so far tonight, and now he has surpassed his season average with 26. He's still not caught his teammate, though. Ricky Soliver, who's got 29, the only 2 Iona Gales in double figures.
Well, the dynamic duo doing it once again. That backcourt combo as good as any you're going to see.
.7:45 to go in regulation. Jordan, Farmer, Orman, Whittington, and Hood. A small lineup, relatively speaking, on the floor for Marist. Bruin, Waxman, Soliver, Burt, and McCullough on the hardwood for the Gales. Shot clock at 13 as we get a whistle off the ball. Foul against Anthony Bruin.
Orman trying to sit in the low post and shape up. Bruin playing from behind, picks up the foul.
So now Miles Orman back to the line, shooting a 1-and-1. That was the 8th team foul against the Gales. And the second foul against Bruin is Bob Leckie. Just looks like hanging out another night. Head coach of St. Peter's. He sees himself up the Jumbotron now.
Said 2. No, it should be 1. One more game, hoping to be number 1 when it's all said and done.
Marvin McCullough at the point. He's got a couple of pretty good shooting guards to pass to on the wing. Both have been hot tonight. This is one of them, Burt, but he dribbled it out of bounds.
That time Hood able to just keep his body in front of Burt and force the turnover.
Well, he is a left-hander, so he was going to his non-dominant hand, dribbling with his right, and just dribbled it out of bounds. And you see he's also got that right wrist and thumb wrapped up, and he couldn't control the ball. How about Anthony Bruin with a block shot, but he's called with the foul. And he has picked up his 3rd personal.
That's more a punch out than a block. Getting up top, the contact was down low. Credit Farmer for leaning in, making sure he got the contact. Bruin with great elevation right there to go challenge.
And Anthony Bruin's father, Tony, is in the stands. He was a high riser at Syracuse back in the early 80s. Red Bruin is what he went by. He stopped by and said hello at halftime. He's made his home here in the Capital Region for a number of years, and Anthony goes out of the ball game. A lot of second-generation stars on this Iona roster.
Absolutely. Stevie Burt, Gary Springer, and as you mentioned, Anthony Bruin.
Waxman posting on Orman. He's double teamed, so McCullough gets the pass back out.
And smart to bring it back out and not force it.
Now Orman gets called for the hold on the low block. And Waxman will shoot a 1-and-1. There's Steve Burt Sr. just chilling himself, the #1 all-time scorer in Iona history. And his son #2, as we've talked about this weekend.
Another father-son combo they're looking for. Both guys played in the NCAA tournament. Certainly Stevie Jr. trying to do that. Senior MVP of this tournament his senior year, leading the Gales to the MAAC championship and then on into the NCAA tournament.
McCullough will inbound with 6:39 to go in regulation. Waxman with the left hand.
And Iona's been able to score a couple times on baseline out of bounds. That time, Waxman just shaping up, making himself available in the low post.
Farmer guarded by Jackson. Nice job defensively by both Iona defensive guards, and Jordan turned his ankle trying to free himself. And off the missed three, here comes Waxman with the dunk and one.
Snuck it on you there. You didn't think Waxman had that kind of ups. Taking it right in stride with his left hand to finish. Will that be enough to finish off Marist? Who knows, but that was a big-time finish out on the break.
Waxman is a right-hander, but this is the third time this weekend he has finished with his left.
But this one, the most impressive of those three, just taking it right at it, right through the contact from Jordan. That was a big-time finish out on the break.
Now, much like Anthony Bruin, Waxman is very comfortable finishing with his left hand down around the post. Waxman very quietly having another productive night in the MAAC tournament.
Absolutely. His front court scoring has been a story in both these games.
Farmer fouled on his way down the lane before the shot. No basket. And both teams in the double bonus. And so Farmer will shoot two. Well, we like that dunk so much. Let's take a look at tonight's Pepsi Slam of the game. Kiro Waxman. Pepsi hits the cola. Farmer gets 1 out of 2. He has a dozen points for the Red Foxes. And it's back to a 10-point ball game.
And they've got to come up with some stops at the defensive end, and they've got to finish them on the backboards. Iona's gotten too many second chance opportunities off the offensive board.
Well, sure, Iona still shooting 62% as a team from the field. Nice pass inside. McCullough fouled by Farmer. McCullough set that up beautifully, and again, this is a quartet of seniors who have played together for 4 years in a row, and McCullough and Waxman, with a quick glance between them, knew exactly what they were going to do.
A great seal there by Waxman. He gets his arm up and he throws it right to the target. McCullough with a terrific delivery. Farmer tries to recover, but it's too late as he gets a piece of Waxman.
McCullough with another nice dish. He has 6 assists to lead Iona tonight.
And you talk about this senior class, certainly they have done a ton in their careers. Over 4,800 points combined, over 1,800 rebounds, over 1,200 assists. The one thing they have not done is win a MAAC championship and play in the NCAAs. That's the one thing they're trying to clean up and fix here this weekend.
Well, they are certainly due, based on the fact that Iona historically has won once every 4 years. They've won 6 titles in 24 years. They're pretty much due for another one. St. Peter's tomorrow night will have something else to say about that if indeed the Gales get there. Waxman up ahead to Soliver. Tied up by Whittington. They both help each other from flying any further off the court. And there is an intentional foul call. As you can see, head coach Matt Brady saying no, he was going for the ball.
Well, terrific outlet by Waxman. Two-hand over the head to get Soliver out on the break. Just too many transition opportunities for Iona tonight.
And I tend to agree with Coach Brady that he was going for the ball.
He went for the ball and got in front of him. You know, sometimes you go for the ball and you're coming from behind. Certainly you're going to get the intentional, but that's the play you teach guys to make. Get yourself ahead, get a hand on the basketball. Instead, Iona will get the basketball back after these foul shots.
And Soliver has matched his season high, 1 away from his career high, and now he has matched that with 31 points. He did that in the MAAC tournament 2 years ago against Niagara.
He just likes to wait for postseason to get those numbers up.
Well, you get the feeling that with Ricky Soliver, if he really wanted to, he could score a lot more points.
And he's the type of player that can dominate a game without having to put up big scoring numbers, although he certainly has dominated tonight with his scoring.
Coach Brady and Joe DeMeo going over that last call once again. Brady getting the explanation. And now he's back into his huddle as the timeout.
And certainly this Marist team is a team that's a lot better when they're playing from the lead, not chasing from behind.
And right now they are trailing by 13. That's their biggest deficit of the night. This copyrighted telecast of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the MAAC. And a terrific pep band that's made the trip up from Poughkeepsie.
And they've had a busy day. They were here for the women's game and saw Marist claim their second women's championship in 3 years.
Well, the Iona men hoping to do what the Marist women did earlier today. That is win the championship. And if they get this kind of guard play again tomorrow night, if they get to the title game, it's going to be tough to stop the Gales.
Not just the points, but how about the efficient scoring? 19 of 30 from that backcourt. We said the top scoring backcourt combo in the country. Getting it done once again here tonight.
And we got to look there at Sam Worthen, one of the assistant coaches for Jeff Ruland, giving a little more instruction to Steve Burt coming out of that timeout. Jared Jordan going to try and rally the troops here with 5:10 remaining in regulation. Farmer got his hand on the pass, but Jackson able to retreat. And now 5-on-4 if Burt can hurry. Farmer late getting back. Burt somehow forces Hood into the foul. Burt clearly was thinking 5-on-4, let's get a shot up quickly, but I don't think that's exactly how they would have drawn it up.
No, certainly not a textbook fast break, but once he gets himself here, the ball fake gets the defense in the air, and once he had him in the air, smart enough to go find the contact to get himself to the line.
The 5th best foul shooter in the league at 82%. And he is trying to keep up with his friend and teammate Ricky Soliver now with 28 points, as some of the Red Foxes, you can read on their faces that the frustration has mounted. Farmer the rebound. Under 5 minutes left in this MAAC semifinal.
And if they're going to make up this deficit, they're going to have to do it with some threes.
Jordan right to the basket, misses the 2, and McCullough the rebound.
Right now, Iona looked very impressive in their second round win over Niagara, a team that had knocked them out of the MAAC tournament 4 consecutive years. And a very impressive second half here tonight. Well, you talked about it, Doug, and Jeff Ruland has also talked about it. When they play and they're on top of their game, this is the most talented team in the league, and that's been on display here in the Pepsi Arena.
And they are shooting 62% from the floor before that three-pointer bounced off the iron by Steve Burt.
And that time, that was a force.
Jordan again takes McCullough to the basket, kicks to the corner this time, and Ben Farmer now with 15 points. That is a new season high and matches his career high.
And if you're a Marist fan, that's what you're going to hang your hat on. Their ability to make threes coming down the stretch. That's the only way they're going to be able to make up this 11-point deficit. Play inside out. Jordan gets himself into the lane as he always does, and when he gets in there, his head's on a swivel, finding guys, that time kicking it out to Farmer, who continues his fine play here in the MAAC tournament.
Jeff Ruland just saying keep it going, stay the course.
Also telling him to share the basketball. Last couple times, Stevie Burt forcing a couple shots. Can't do that. You've got the lead. Make sure that you just play, get everybody involved. His 2 keys all the time, defensive focus and sharing the basketball.
14 out of 18 as a team from the floor here in the second half. Will Whittington, Miles Orman, Jared Jordan, Carl Hood, and Ben Farmer back from the huddle out of the timeout for Marist. A little full court pressure trying to force the turnover. But with this trio of senior guards for the Gales, they are tough to turn over. Burt back out to McCullough, who will slow it down.
And much better decision that time by Stevie Burt. That's what Jeff Ruland was talking about in that timeout.
Waxman double team, back to Soliver with 10 to shoot. Farmer the rebound. Marist down 11 with 3.5 to go. Farmer looking for a new career high, can't get it. Orman Skies for the rebound. And the Red Foxes still in this thing.
Absolutely, especially with their ability to knock down deep shots.
Change of pace. Jordan will go to the line to shoot 2. Timeout on the floor. And we are 3 minutes and 18 seconds away from seeing if Iona is the team to advance into the MAAC finals tomorrow night. We shall see.
This is Siena, a college that builds competence and character, where you're part of a team, a place of academic rigor that builds leaders, offering opportunity and values that prepare you for change, leadership, and life. The tradition, the community of Siena, educating for success, one student at a time.
In the first half, neither team led by any more than 5 at the intermission. They were tied at 46 apiece, but the second half began with a 6-0 run for Iona, and that little bit of separation has been just enough to keep the Red Foxes at bay so far.
And they've been on fire here in this second half. 74% in this second half, and they knocked down their first 8 shot attempts.
4 different Marist players, Rob, have 15 points right now. In spite of that distribution, they're still playing catch-up.
And again, this is not a team that's really built to play catch-up. They don't have the quickness and foot speed to really extend the floor defensively.
Yeah, they don't force a lot of turnovers, relatively speaking. Burt back to McCullough, looking for his first points. Waxman tips it home.
And again, everything about their backcourt, but Waxman doing a yeoman's job inside once again tonight.
Well, we said that this Iona team is the highest scoring in the MAAC, 15th highest scoring team in the country. And they have surpassed their 80 per game total already tonight.
We talked about the fact that if they're going to come back, they've got to finish off defensive plays. Cannot allow Iona easy shots and second chance opportunities off the offensive board.
Waxman now with 16 points along with those 4 rebounds.
The Gales have dominated the offensive glass. 13 offensive rebounds. Just too many second chance opportunities.
Jordan gets 1 out of 2. Back to a 10-point ball game.
It's also with the experience of the 3 senior guards out on the floor. Iona, a tough team to chase around.
They are really the 3 musketeers of the MAAC. The 3 left-handed seniors for Iona really putting on a terrific show tonight. McCullough, Burt, and Soliver.
There's the 4th musketeer in this senior class, the big guy inside, and Waxman, the guy who has really stepped up and had by far his best season here in his senior season.
Will Whittington called for his 4th foul. And there is the least talked about of the 3 musketeers, Marvin McCullough, but he, as you see with that statistic, is the only player in the history of Gales basketball to record 100 assists, and that is in, somewhat speaking, relatively few minutes because he's had to share so much of that time in the backcourt over the years.
Yeah, 4th all-time in assists, 6th all-time in steals. This senior class is spotted throughout the record books for this Iona program.
Well, here in this 2006 MAAC tournament, everybody fighting to get to Monday night. Keedron Clark leading the way for St. Peter's.
And everybody putting everything on the line, throwing your body around. It's March Madness. You don't think that they're playing for something. Just look at this physical play on that. Jeff Xavier lost a couple teeth, came back in, and then jumped over top of this bench early on. That collision right there. And how did Ricky Soliver react to that? Well, he knocked down 4 straight shots. You see everybody putting it on the line. Great hustle from all these teams tonight.
And that's the way the whole season has gone. This has been for the MAAC a very good year. They're now 14th in the country in RPI. And for the first time since 2001, there are 6 different teams that will end the year with records of better than 500. So whoever moves on to postseason play, whether it be Iona or St. Peter's or Marist. Manhattan's already going to the NIT. This league will be well represented on the national stage.
Absolutely. They've had a terrific RPI all season long. When you talk about RPIs, good RPIs for both of these teams. Iona looks like they are going to advance on to the championship game. And even if they were to lose to St. Peter's, I think they're still alive for a potential NIT bid. Coming into the game, they had an RPI of 81. That certainly puts them in play for postseason.
Reaching foul in the backcourt against Ben Farmer. What about Marist? What about the resume the Red Foxes would have? Say they do lose this ball game, they would then be 18-10.
And certainly a terrific season in Matt Brady's second year, but probably not quite enough to get themselves into the NIT. An RPI in the hundreds coming into the game. Remember, a different setup for the NIT this year as well. Automatic bids will be gobbled up by teams that won their conference's regular season championships and did not win their league tournament, like Manhattan, listed earlier on this week. A couple different low and mid-major regular season champions taking a couple bids, which I think is a great thing for the NIT. Really puts a premium on the regular season for all of these different conferences.
Which further speaks to how much was on the line last Sunday in that Iona-Manhattan game. Not only the double bye in this tournament, which proved not to be a help this year for the Jaspers, but still something to shoot for, as well as that automatic NIT bid.
And you've got to reward teams for a terrific regular season, not just those teams that finish in the middle of the pack in one of those major conferences in the BCS and go 4-12 in their league. You've got to make sure you reward teams like Manhattan, who had a terrific regular season, going 13-5 or 14-4, excuse me, in the MAAC.
Jared Jordan picks out the personal foul, and we take a look back at what Ricky Soliver has done tonight in matching his career high in spite of that big collision early in the second half. It served to seem to spark him to this big night.
Well, he scored 8 quick points, including a couple nice plays inside on the back door, sneaking on it right here on the baseline out of bounds. He was certainly the difference right from the start for Iona. Set the tone with a couple quick baskets. When Stevie Burt picked up 2 quick fouls, he was the guy that carried the scoring early and often.
And there you see Ricky Soliver matching that career high, nearly doubling his season average. And this was after having only 3 points in round number 2 last night.
And as we said, though, last night he really didn't have to score the basketball. Still had a good all-around game with 8 assists and 6 rebounds. But just 3 points because other guys stepped up last night, including Bruin and Springer and Waxman inside their front court. Was the group that carried the scoring last night, and tonight, as has been the case all season long, it was the backcourt.
Waxman sits down with 18 points. It appears that his evening is done. Iona gets the ball back. Oh, he does come back in. There we see Ricky Soliver, our Pepsi player of the game. Pepsi hits the cola, and the numbers speak for themselves. Ricky Soliver taking his time and getting the ball into Kirill Waxman. Up ahead to Jackson, who lays it in.
And right now, just too much transition basketball, too much quickness for this Iona team.
Whittington, no good. Waxman the rebound. And at this point, Iona, well, the reach-in foul. Marist continues to commit the foul. Down by 16 with 1:14 remaining. And so now the Gales will have a chance to reach the century mark, which doesn't happen all that often, especially in tournament play.
Usually in tournament play, you get games that grind on. This game never had that pace. Right from the start, both teams shot it so well in the first half, had a terrific flow and pace. And that little burst, as you talked about, Doug, to start off the second half and got the separation for Iona. And then they were able to make sure they kept Marist at bay the rest of the way.
Don't miss your chance to help the MAAC celebrate this 25th anniversary season by voting for the best 25 athletes in MAAC history on MAACsports.com, where you can always stay connected to the MAAC and your favorite teams and players. And you see Carl Hood, the senior for the Red Foxes, being taken out of the game. And the crowd that made the trip up from Poughkeepsie here to Albany chants Carl Hood in appreciation for his 4 terrific years at Marist College.
And they recognize the fact that he's had a terrific senior year, as did his coach. Nice move there by Matt Brady to take him out. When you start looking ahead to preview this championship matchup against St. Peter's and Iona, those two teams split their regular season matchups. Both of them were close games, an 8-point win for Iona on the road at St. Peter's, and then St. Peter's went up to New Rochelle and pulled off the upset, winning by 4. And the one thing that St. Peter's has that Marist did not have is the quickness to be able to match up with the athleticism of Iona.
Jeff Rulin's club will be heading back to the MAAC title game tomorrow night. They have been led by the 31 points of Ricky Soliver and the 30 points of Steve Burt, and then Kirill Waxman with a big second half with his 18 points. The Gales about to win their 22nd game, and like you were talking about, with that resume, you'd think win or lose tomorrow night, the Gales should find themselves in further postseason play a week from now. We talked about how rare it is for a MAAC tournament team to score 100 or more points, and you see the Gales, one of only 5 all-time to get to that century mark. The Citizens Bank MAAC Championship brackets have been filled into the finals. Number 2 Iona looks to be headed to take on that man's 5th seeded St. Peter's Peacocks.
And certainly Bob Lecky's team has been a terrific story up here in Albany. Kiki Clark making history, scoring his 3,000th point last night, going past Oscar Robertson the night before that.
Passing Percy Hawkins, and now 6th all-time on the NCAA points list.
The only thing he does not have, in all the accolades that he has gotten here in his career, all the milestones he has hit, MAAC Player of the Year, the only thing that Kiki Clark has not done is win a championship and play in the NCAA tournament. And certainly that'll be a great story heading into tomorrow night's ball game.
McCullough trying to kill some more clock with 13 to shoot. Well, this will be yet another road victory for Iona. A neutral site game, but again on the road, the Gales are impressive. Soliver fired it up to avoid the shot clock violation. Jeff Rulin would like to get a couple of his bench players into the game if there's another stoppage here. If the Gales get it, timeout will be called, perhaps. Kenny Jackson now will dribble it out, and that'll do it. Coach Rulin says, let's get off the floor and get ready for tomorrow night's MAAC title game.
And certainly an impressive win led by Ricky Soliver. His 31 points, and Iona looked very good here, putting up 100 points in this semifinal win.
Well, a seesaw first half turned into an Iona second half. All smiles for the Gales as Ricky Soliver, Gary Springer, Steve Burt Jr., Kenny Jackson, and the rest of the Gales win impressively. This will be, as you see, the 9th time into the finals for Iona. Ricky Soliver, our Pepsi Player of the Game, ties his career high with 31 points. Iona wins going away by 16. We'll be back to wrap things up as our MAAC semifinals are in the books. All smiles for Soliver. The Gales survive and advance.